Hey, what's up? Andy here. Today I want to share some production techniques to help you make better sounding chord progressions. For this example, we'll be looking at how I turned a chord progression in Captain Chords Epic from this to this. First, thicken the sound with some complexity. It's a simple process in Captain Chords Epic, which adds depth and warmth to your chords. Now we'll improve the flow of the progression with inversion changes. This might not be required since Captain Chords Epic will automatically set the best voicing, but you can tweak it if required. Layer the sound 3 times, bottom, middle and top, using different sounds and octaves for each layer. Choose sound presets that complement each other. For example, having one sound with a strong transient and another with a more sustained timbre, such as a pad, will work well together and not be fighting for space or purpose. The idea is to fill the frequency spectrum, resulting in a more interesting timbre. Now balance the volume of the 3 layers. It's like mixing your song, but we're just mixing the chord progression parts to find a nice balance between the 3 sounds. Apply some high-pass EQ on the top and mid layers to give the bass layer more space in its frequency range. This will help to prevent a muddy mix. Group the 3 layers into one channel. This is good housekeeping for your project and allows effects to be placed over the 3 layers at once. We'll now apply various processing techniques to enhance the chord progression and further glue the 3 layers together. Add some overall EQ to further balance the sound and tame any stray frequencies. I like to use Sonable's Smart EQ for this, as it analyses the sound and applies an EQ curve based on the analysis, taking some of the guesswork out of the process. Adding some ping pong delay will widen the sound and allow the top piano sound to carry into the progression. Using a transient shaper is a great way to help glue the layers together and shape the envelope. It's a bit like the ADSR controls you'd find on a synthesizer. I'll boost the attack and sustain and add some pump to create interesting dynamics. Saturation is a great way to add depth, presence, character, colour and warmth. Apply it gently though. The key with all of these effects is to make many small tweaks, not huge individual ones. Again, I'm using another Kilohertz plugin. Kilohertz created Faceplant, which powers Captain Plugin's epic sound presets. Their effects plugins are also awesome and are currently my go-to plugins. I'll add chorus to thicken the sound further. The default settings work great, so I can just add this plugin, set the mix, and move on. Now I'll add Carve EQ. It has a great imager preset that cuts low frequency from the side channels and boosts the higher frequencies. This is important since we're using a lot of stereo effects, which can cause issues in the low end if not tamed. If you want to understand this technique in more detail, look up mid-side EQ. I'll now add a filter with a low-pass configuration. I can adjust the cutoff to help glue the sounds together at the higher frequencies and add some resonance with the Q setting to add some excitement to the cutoff point. I'll automate the filter cutoff in Logic to open and close slightly as the chord progression plays. This adds some movement to the chords. Finally, the main glue. I'm using the term glue a lot. Since the idea is to create one big sound, we're using many of these effects to make the layers cohesive. Think of compression in this instance as framing a picture. What we're doing here is boxing in the layers so they sound like one. A lowish ratio with a slow attack and slow release works best for pads, in my opinion. Around 5 dB gain reduction is plenty and is achieved by lowering the threshold setting before adding some makeup gain to compensate. These tips are completely subjective and are certainly not hard fast rules about layering or effect processing. The key is to get creative, add subtle effects, and have an end goal in mind. Also, the effects used are quite generic and can be found in most DAW's built-in effects section if you don't own these plugins or other third-party effect plugin suites. I hope this video was helpful and you'll be able to layer up some of your own sounds to create amazing chord progressions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.